yeah. I got the on, yeah. I got it on now. If you buy your style, rap. A 50 on hour. I say through the skies, yeah. I spend every time. Look at their faces, they all still 10,000 a dime. Play with these rats, I'm a ball player. Flow like a butterfly, Lambo the beat. I take a shop in a pair of the seats. You see me popping, they staring at me. This ring, it cost me a hair on a key. I told my dentist to carrot my teeth. We racking the Bottega V. This Margiela 2003. Push starter, you know I ain't least. But guess, I'm cool on her, on the catch. She do what I said, she gon' fetch. I'm in this without regrets. Jimmy and my coupe ISS. I drill when I walk, I'm possessed. This rose look good on my flesh. These Rolls Royce back to back, yes. I'm floating on this shit like a jet ski. Come on, can't test me. In Florence, Dubai next week. She chocolate, she like Nestle. Got broccoli, pockets is healthy. Binoculars and they Balenci. With the lit read, I'm trying to make 200 M, please. 100, walk around with 10 to D. VS Stone, sit back, stroll. Pull up Rolls truck. I'm rocking the Rolls one. Platinum stones. I might have a stones, yeah. Still going chrome, yeah. I got the on, yeah. I got it on now. If you buy your style, rap. A 50 on hour. I say through the skies, yeah. I spend every time. Look at their faces, they all still 10,000 a dime. Play with these rats, I'm a ball player. Push on my team, I could never be a trader. Like Raiders, we ball, never thought they'd rate us. I'm going about to drop them in label, but putting this label, I ain't asking for favors. Drop me on special, smash the Raiders. Ain't no bay out of ass tangled. No interviews, ask me later. Like take off, I'd rather be rich than famous. Yes, might go call JoJo to protect. Oh no, could be cool to collect. My diamonds and gold in the chest. Hit down me a Louis V chest. Put it on, I can go down me a R&B Virgil, he gave me the credit. 10 years from now, look back on the shit, and I promise I'm doing my best. Let go, NCS iconic. Let's go, let's count out this money. Good loaf, the bread and the butter. The toast, now ain't that ironic. I'm digging it up, he ain't throwing it. She hate when I go, she hook on like funny. I float, I'm smoking on this chronic. Eat diamonds, hit when it's sunny. VS Stone, sit back, stroll. Pull up Rolls truck. I'm rocking the Rolls one. Platinum stones. I might have a stones, yeah. It's still going chrome, yeah. I got the on, yeah. I got it on now.
Today, we're going to talk about the conference championships, CBB winners for today, and of course, the squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. Cooper Kupp might be washed. 4 targets, no catches. The guy ran a half a marathon. I've seen 20 tweets about it this morning. The guy didn't do a single thing.
Yeah, that was a frustrating bagel for a lot of fantasy owners.
Is this what we've become down in Blacksburg? Just complacent, happy to be going about our day and being a moose shit program, celebrating a kid getting 1 point against North Carolina A&T? He better fucking score a point. You're playing North Carolina A&T. He's leading college football, Jovan, in every single statistical category for a wide receiver. Every single one. And you don't give that guy the award? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. At the end of the day, you got to reward teams for winning fucking games. And if they're in a power conference, they're in a power conference. I'm tired of this big dick swinging contest between the SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and ACC. At the end of the day, you got to fucking reward winning. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Monday, episode 625 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your 2 hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by SeatGeek. If you're going to any games this weekend, maybe you're trying to buy your opening day tickets for baseball, buy your tickets on SeatGeek. Use promo code Bookit10, plug that code into SeatGeek, and you have 10% off every future purchase in the SeatGeek app. If you're already not using that app in your rotation to buy tickets, I don't know what you're doing. SeatGeek Fire app. Go check it out to buy your tickets. Jovan, I'll get right to it. It was always the Eagles, and it was always the Chiefs. Good call.
Always was.
Fuck. Flatwoods could be a good time to go to a game. Been a while. Use promo code Bookit10 on SeatGeek, my man. Yeah, the commies run is over, right? Kind of felt that way when the spread got up to -6, but yeah, that one got ugly. That one got ugly, Jovan. We'll talk about it in a moment. Why don't we go ahead and do the recaps for Friday, and then we'll get into the conference championship games, talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about the Super Bowl lines as well. But yes, Richie Parlay, that was a dick. Okay, you're correct. We got Dave Martinez's burner coming in, resubbing. Let's fucking go. We'll have 3 units on the squad ride today to celebrate 30 months. Please don't let me down. Dave Martinez Burner, we got you. We're cashing a squad ride tonight. We appreciate the support. W Subby and W Peyton 402 coming in with a resub as well during TMA. W Mikey running TMA earlier today. If you guys missed TMA, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTubes at Bookit Sports. I believe we're like 25 subs away from 10K on the YouTube. Correct me if I'm wrong, Goodsy, but getting very close to 10K subbies on the YouTube. So if you guys haven't gotten involved, today could be a good day. You could be our 10K sub over there on YouTube, and it is free to get involved. All right, we're getting close. W's. Jovan, let's take a peep at the plays, the recaps from the squad ride on Friday and Kent State below it. I did not want to remember this one. Brutal.
That was top 5 most painful CBB games to watch all season.
That game hurt my soul. Look, Ohio's 2 best players were out. It didn't matter. They still won that game at home. Unbelievable. I mean, Kent State had every opportunity.
I mean, Ohio gifted them about 4 or 5 chances with obscene turnovers, misses, crazy stuff, and somehow they gave it right back in tenfold.
Yep. W Big Cheesy coming in resubbing. Great listening to you guys and your insight daily. Love the hard work you guys put in. W Big Cheesy, we appreciate you, my man. Thank you for resubbing for 8 months, Goats. We appreciate you. Okay. All right. What else we got here, gents? We got to recap a sharp report from Friday, I believe. It looks like Jovan carried the weight and bounced back and then some. How about a 5-0 day for the kid on Friday? Jeez.
Yeah. Full sweep after a full fade. Crazy 24 hours there.
Sure. Hey, we take that.
I knew.
Hey, that's 500.
I knew there was something good coming after we started off with some green on the pitch. That just set tone for the day.
Yes, it did. How many goals did that game end with? Plenty?
Only ended with 4. It was 2-2. But
okay.
There was never really, I don't think, a doubt that we were getting 4 once the Keel scored first.
Sure. All right. Well, for those who had over 3.25 or 3.5, right, they also cashed.
Also great. W's. Yeah.
W's. Flatwood said we should do more pitch plays.
Yeah, the slate calls for it. We get into it. We'll definitely have pitch plays on Wednesday. I don't know if you're aware, Krabs, but the Champions League is Wednesday again, but they're playing all 18 matches at the same exact time. So it's like absolute madness. I think at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that's great. So we're definitely going to have some plays for that.
There's got to be one winner on the pitch we can find at least during that time if they got fucking 15 games going off at once. We can get in the lab on Wednesday. See if we could find some winners on the pitch. Sure. All right. W Subbies coming in. W Hype Train. We appreciate you guys. R3TR coming in. Dubs resubbing for 29 months. Let's fucking go. Props and Chops. He's excited for the Wednesday slate on the pitch. We'll get there.
Nuts.
We'll get there. All right. Gents, before we dive in and do a Steam Krabs, I want to talk a little bit about the conference championships. So maybe we can pull up that graphic, Goodsy. W's. Record amount of points for a conference championship weekend. You probably wouldn't expect everyone to be so pissed about the outcomes. With that being the case, a ton of points typically relates or correlates to great games, but 2 blowouts on the slate on Sunday. Plenty of points, plenty of tutties.
2
but
blowouts.
No excitement or no fun.
2 blowouts, crazy.
2 blowouts is beat.
You're saying the Chiefs game was a blowout?
Well, I don't know. It just never really felt in doubt. I feel like it never felt in doubt. I feel like Josh Allen fumbling the ball, recovering it. I never really thought that he was that locked in that game. I don't know. I just knew that Bills were absolute kick.
Yeah, I think that's just because of who they were facing, though, not because it was that big of a margin. It was a field goal game.
Yeah, field goal game in the final, sure. Josh Allen just did not look like the superhero he's been all season. He did not look like the superhero he needed to be in this game to pull off the upset. And once again, the Bills win during the regular season. Great. And then the Chiefs go on and win the games that matter. And we saw that again. Gosh, man. Why do the Bills run that soft-ass zone all the fucking time? I don't get it. Change it up every once in a while. Do something different. We got Doodle Knight coming in, giving out a subby to the people. W Doodle Knight, we appreciate you. Hype train moving and grooving. Jovan, I know there was a lot of comments about the referees, honestly, in both of these games. What are your thoughts on the refs in that Chiefs and Bills contest?
I mean, I would love to sit up here and just say the Chiefs got gifted that game like they always do, but I don't think they did. I mean, sure, there were a couple calls that went their way, and it's going to be magnified because everybody's talking about it leading up to the game. But I mean, it would be a lot different if that field goal drive that Pat led didn't give the Bills a chance to go back down the field with 2 minutes of their own. Like if they didn't have a shot at all after the fourth down, that frankly, I mean, I might be one of the few. I don't think Josh Allen got it. I don't think it was that crazy of a call, especially when you don't have full vision of the ball. But Josh Allen and the Bills had their chance. And they went down and they did absolutely nothing with it. I don't really know why there's such a complaint. I thought, as far as like the pure calls go, I think there were some calls that were a lot worse in the Commanders game. Not that it mattered because it was a 30-point game, but
right,
for just talking pure questionable calls, I think they were a lot worse than in that game than the Chiefs game.
Yeah, I could agree. It was a pretty brutal showing from the refs in that first game. If it was a closer contest, I'd be more pissed, but it really didn't end up mattering in the end. It was just a belt-to-ass performance from the Eagles. We got Rycall coming in, dropping a resub as well. Fire me up, gents. I need a winner. Yes, sir. We're going to dive into the slates in a little bit here. Don't you worry. And we're going to find some winners. Okay? Yeah, commies, man. I thought for a second there they were going to keep it close and make it a game. The Cardiac Commanders. But Saquon, the Eagles offense, it was just too much. And the turnovers killed us. I mean, you can't have 8 combined turnovers in the last 2 games against the Eagles and expect to beat them both times, right? They thrive off the turnovers. But we'll be back in that puppy, right? We still exceeded expectations. Still a W season. We got a ton of cap space. I'm excited to see what the Commanders do in year 2 of JD5. We'll be back in that puppy. We will.
Yeah.
Was not the best showing, but JD5 found pay dirt. He did his little dance. We'll be back in that pup. He will. Might be a year or two, but look, still a W season. And I'm still a very, very happy fan. Jovan, thoughts on the Eagles? They did exactly what you expected. You want to gas them up a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to take full credit for it, but I didn't think they'd be that dominant. I mean, I've been one of the biggest outside of, I guess, one of the biggest non-Eagles fans pumping the drum that everybody is smoking something, saying that team is not impressive or Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball, when simply the fact is he's injured and they haven't had to throw the ball because Saquon Barkley should be the MVP. Shouldn't be Josh Allen. Shouldn't be Lamar. Saquon, if it wasn't a quarterback award, he should be the MVP. I talked about that. It definitely should be Josh for talking about the 2 quarterbacks, but it shouldn't be either. It should be Saquon. But I mean, the Commanders made Jalen Hurts throw in some pretty big spots because really outside of the big run on the first play of the game for the Eagles, they did a decent job on Saquon. Like somehow after that long run, if you took his rushing yards, you're still in moose because they did a decent job bottling him up, but Jalen Hurts made the throws. So like they were impressive. The Commanders definitely helped out by, not being able to hold the ball for 4 times, but they did exactly what they should.
Gosh, man, what a weekend. What a weekend. Thought the games would be better.
I would also love to say I enjoyed that Marshawn Lattimore piss quite a bit. That was fantastic. That was almost better than.
We'll talk about that in a sec. God,
almost better than the Bucks, man. Being there, it was great.
We'll talk about Mr. Marshawn Lattimore here in a moment. For now, I got a couple more comments about the Commanders game, and then we'll move on to the Steam Krabs and then get into some winners for today. But it sucks that we wasted that Tressway dart. Just an elite throw, 25 yards, a seed over the middle of the field, and wasted one of the greater plays on special teams in recent years in the NFL. Sucks that we wasted that, but good to see Tress getting the camera time he deserves because he was getting slurped on the feeds or during the broadcast. Tressway coming through. I mean, Jovan, that play was unbelievable on their own 30-yard line. It was awesome.
That was when I thought we were getting just a bang.
We thought we had a chance. Yep, we thought there was a chance. But my last comments, I mean, as soon as Saquon, look, we first drive of the game, very slow, methodical drive down the field. So we kick a field goal. Great. We get some points. We take off a bunch of time off the clock, like half of the first quarter. And then the Eagles' first play of the game, a 60-yard run from Saquon. That shit was cake right off the rip. I mean, the Commanders all week have been thinking, slow down Saquon, we have a chance. Slow down Saquon, we could potentially win this game. It's the only shot we have. They've been thinking about Saquon all week, and then the first play of the game from scrimmage for the Eagles on offense, 60-yard touchdown run. Yeah, it was cake. They didn't stand a chance.
Cake. They did a good job, though. They did a good job.
They did. They did enough.
I kind of expected it because I wasn't in the camp that Jalen Hurts wasn't capable of throwing the ball anymore. But after that run, I mean, Saquon got relatively held in check. So, I mean, they did all that they could. It wasn't enough because they kept putting their defense back out on the field with short fields after the turnovers. They looked like a team that hadn't been there before, which is fine because they're going to be back there pretty soon.
All right, and you mentioned Marshawn Lattimore. I'm not done with him yet.
Oh,
you got a minute for me to bitch about something?
Please.
Gucci, run that shit. If there's one guy or one thing that I leave this season pissed off about, it's the cornerback that we traded for on the Saints halfway through the season. Didn't play much, didn't do job, and pretty much just bitched and complained and pinned all the blame on everybody else. I want you guys to watch this video post-game on Marshawn Lattimore. We're only going to watch the first 13 seconds or so. See what he said when they asked him about the game and what he said the reason why they lost was. I mean, Marshawn, you got burnt yesterday. Plain and simple. You did the thing you always do where when you suck, you pick a fight with the biggest, baddest dude on the other team and you cause problems and you get flags. Marshawn Lattimore, man, this is the culture we're trying to change in DC. This is the same shit we heard after the seasons in recent years when Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen with the C's on their chests are bitching and moaning and not leading after a terrible season. This is the kind of cancer we got to get out of the locker room. Okay? Immediately after the game, you get embarrassed, you are burnt. 90% of that game. Sure, you had a couple good tackles, a couple good plays, whatever. Marshawn Lattimore, A.J. Brown just took your lunch money in that one, and Devonta Smith did at times as well. Okay? I'll tell you what, Marshawn Lattimore, zero accountability. I'm very disappointed. Blaming the turnovers, buddy. We beat the Eagles only a couple weeks ago when we had 5 turnovers in the game and we won. We won that game. And then you're saying, oh, the reason why we lost this game was those 3 TOs? Surely it didn't help. I'll tell you what else didn't help, Jovan. Marshawn Lattimore giving up 100 yards, 6 catches, and a touchdown to A.J. Brown on his fucking head. Embarrassing performance. No accountability whatsoever. Get this guy out of here, man. Played 5 games for the Commanders this season. He was supposed to be our savior, our saving grace in our secondary. Played 5 games this year, gave up over 100 yards in penalties, and cost us more than 20 points combined in those games. That's more than a field goal per game he's costing us, playing like shit, getting penalties left and right. Marshawn Lattimore, you've lost a step, and you have zero accountability. I lost some respect for him after that post-game presser, man. And if there's one thing I'm pissed off about after that Commies L, it's Marshawn's attitude, to be honest with you. Loser mentality.
Yeah, tends to be the same mentality you get from a lot of those players that come from down there on the defense in New Orleans. Krabs. I would have killed to have eyes on. I would have killed to have eyes on Mike Evans watching that championship game last night. That would have been.
Sure, you had the feet kicked up, maybe a glass of whiskey boards.
Yeah,
smile on his face,
enjoying life. I'll tell you that much.
Gosh, man, it's just the same sad story for Marshawn every game. He either locks in, which we haven't seen much this year. I mean, sure, he's been hurt, whatever. The guy stunk pretty much the majority of the season. He didn't do much. The guy gets burnt, and then he blames the rest of the team. Buddy, you played 5 games. You're supposed to be our saving grace. And all you did was hurt us and then make excuses. Get that bozo out of here, man. Get him out. I might be Team Mike now, to be honest with you.
Good.
Switching.
Join us.
Unbelievable. All right. Let's move. Let's groove. Before we get into the sharp report for today, gents, as we get a sub man coming in from Doodle Knight, let's fucking go, Doodle Knight. Hype train moving and grooving. I would love to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Okay, the odds are out. So they got released like a second after the game last night, of course. Books are on their shit. W. Chewy in chat. Good to see you, my man. Jovan, would love to pick your brain, get your early thoughts on Chiefs versus Eagles in New Orleans in about 2 weeks. You got the Chiefs laying 1.5. The total in this game has bumped up a point from where it opened at 48.5 right after the game. Now we're seeing 49.5. What are your early thoughts on the Super Bowl?
You know, my thoughts are the Chiefs were of course on the radar coming into the season for everybody because the 3P was a big storyline. Not many people thought they could do it. But regardless, my champion in August was the Eagles. So nothing's changing from that. Champion was them coming into the season. My champion was them coming into the playoffs. And that was without even watching them and thinking that Saquon could take this team to as high of heights as I think everybody has seen the last couple weeks in the playoffs, especially. So, yeah, I'm fully in the camp that Jalen Hurts is capable of throwing the ball, and I'm fully in the camp that Saquon is the best player in the NFL and is going to do unspeakable things to the Chiefs defense that they haven't seen a running back to do them all year. So I am not switching up. This is going to be cinema, but no 3P.
Okay. Could not agree more. Give me the Eagles in this game. I'll tell you what else stuck out to me right after yesterday's, 2 shootout type games, 2 overs, right? Most points in conference championship history. I wanted to take the under in this game no matter what. And we saw tons of points from both sides, Chiefs and especially the Eagles against the Commies yesterday. I'm a little bit scared seeing that total already moving up for points. Maybe the Sharps hammered that over right when it opens. So I might end up staying off that total, but I certainly lean the under after we saw a record amount of points on conference championship weekends. And I wouldn't be shocked if I end up on it myself. Now, I definitely will be on the Eagles as well. This one just simply means more. You got a little revenge narrative, right? Chiefs and Eagles, people forget they faced off, I think, in the Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that was the one in Scottsdale, and I believe
that was one of the only times. Yeah, you were there. That was one of the only times I've just been all in on the Chiefs for an entire season, playoff run, everything.
Yep. And me and Trent were in that puppy. I was on the Chiefs as a dog, I believe, and he was on the Eagles. And the Chiefs came through in that one. And what do you know? Now we're here, and Mahomes is going for the 3-peat. But if I had to guess, I'd say Trent will probably be on the Chiefs in this one. We'll see how it goes. Shout out James Cook yesterday for balling as well. They got to get him the ball more. I don't know why
they should have.
And I don't know why I faded him. Ship play. He's pretty good. All right. Any other comments, thoughts? Can we get a Goots POD maybe? A Goots future in the Super Bowl if he's got any thoughts on this matchup here?
I mean, I just hope they both lose somehow.
Yeah. Maybe just the under then, Goots.
I mean,
that's why I don't know if I can get there with the under, Krabs, because of that.
Yeah.
All the talk about this being the worst Super Bowl ever because nobody wants to watch either of these two teams. Nobody wants to watch either of them win. What if it's just the greatest game of all time? What if it's as good as the first time?
If I was forced to bet something, I'd probably bet the Eagles. Yeah.
They look sharp to you, Goots?
No, it's just
I
hate the Chiefs with all my heart. Yeah. Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm legally obligated to take this under after we saw the Eagles put up 55 and the Chiefs in the Bills game, cashing that over with ease. But Jovan, that's a good point as well. Everyone's going to hate this game. People are going to be saying, oh, I'm boycotting this game. Guys, nobody's boycotting the Super Bowl. Grow up.
Yeah, you're a liar.
Put your big boy pants on. Walk to 7-Eleven. Go get your beer. Get your snacks. You're watching the damn Super Bowl, and you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to bet on it. Okay, grow up.
Now,
you're going to be okay.
As stupid as those people are, because complaining about the Super Bowl saying, oh, I'm not going to watch it, that's ridiculous. You're going to watch it. You're going to be tuning in to every single play. Those people are stupid. But the other people that are even dumber are the people that are sitting up on their high horse. I think Nate Burleson was on the post game talking about, he's like, if you're complaining about the Super Bowl and watching the Chiefs for the 3rd time in a row, you just need to sit back and enjoy greatness and be happy about it that you're witnessing this. And I'm like, we can all sit here and acknowledge that both things can be true, that this is a dynasty and the Chiefs are incredible in what they're doing year to year, whether it's just Mahomes or the entire organization is fantastic, without just being tired and having fatigue of watching the same team dominate and be in the Super Bowl and where all eyes are on them every single year. Those people are really just pissing me off on Twitter, on the broadcast, everywhere they're talking about it. They act like they're on some, I don't know, some moral high ground because they want to put it that they enjoy watching the Chiefs do this every year. Like nobody does. It was the same thing with Patriots Brady. Nobody watched that. Nobody wanted that. It's just the same story now.
Yeah, it's okay to chirp the Chiefs and say you're rooting against them and say you're, tired about it, as long as you actually respect what they're doing.
You can appreciate greatness, but also not enjoy the repetitiveness of it. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't respect a single ounce of it, Krabs.
Do you at least respect Mahomes?
No, not at all.
Okay. We'll talk about that more maybe in a little bit.
Brady's a goat.
The stream.
Yeah.
Still the GOAT. 100%. 100%.
Exactly.
For
and
now.
The guy with the Chiefs, or what is it, Travis Kelce logos, of course, bitching, said he wouldn't say if it was your team, lame response. I actually would say that when people were like, when Brady was with the Bucs, nobody enjoyed watching Brady go to Tampa and do it again. And I can 100% say that I can understand where those people come from because I wouldn't either if it wasn't my team doing it. So I completely get it. So you can respect Brady's greatness while also saying you don't enjoy watching him be in the Super Bowl year after year, which is a fact.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I respect his greatness. I am tired of seeing it, though. I am. I'll say it. But I respect his greatness. And, if he's able to go in there in 2 weeks and win a third Super Bowl in a row, he's certainly closing the gap between him and Tom. I wouldn't say he passes Tom. Not yet. But the trajectory of his career, obviously, he's got some time, The
craziest part is I saw another tweet of somebody talking about like how everybody complains about the Chiefs and everything, but I mean, their coaching staff for the most part has stayed relatively intact for Pat Mahomes' entire career, which is crazy. Because like outside of Bieniemy, there's been like no massive moves, and as we've learned, Bieniemy was really not the driver of anything with any sort of importance to that offense, as we found out. So like, if you want to start making something shake, then rest of the league start making some calls, making some hires, make something different.
You think Cliff comes back next year for one more year, or you think he goes to the Saints?
I don't know why you would go to the Saints. Like
head coaching job.
Yeah, it's a head coaching job, but it's like a significantly worse spot. Like I would say, even with the promotion being a part of it, that's a downgrade. That's not even me just talking as a Bucs fan talking about the Saints. Like, do you want to go there with a whole new system with Derek Carr as your QB, your entire team's in cap hell, your defense is flatlined from what it once was a couple of years ago? Like, you got Alvin Kamara, who's aging and doesn't even want to be there. You got no wide receiver weapons other than Olave, whose brain is literal mush at this point. Like, I wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I think he sits it out, comes back for another year, looks for a better opportunity, better gig, and then he probably goes somewhere. I know you could tell he wants to still be a head coach and run his own show, but I mean, look, you come back for another year with JD5 with some experience under his belts. I mean, he makes Cliff look like the GOAT, right? And I'm not saying Cliff doesn't deserve the respect or that he's not a major factor why the offense looks so good, but why not run it back for another year instead of going to New Orleans and then figure it out after next season?
I mean, I think he's perfectly fine where he is right now. Obviously, he's going to look for a head coaching job, but if we learned anything from what he did in Arizona, might not want to rush that. Because I think one of the biggest things I've learned from this season is maybe Cliff wasn't the problem. Not just because JD5 is fantastic and the offense is fantastic, but look what Kyler Murray has done since, when he's been set up to do quite a bit more every single time since. Been put in a great position. Great rookie wide receivers, great pieces around him, at least on the offense, and still does nothing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Turner Mack coming in resubbing. Let's go, Turner Mack. 16 months. Don't fade Mahomes in the playoffs. At least we can make coins. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. You gents want to go over the Sharp reports? Enough yapping about the bowl. Enough yapping about football. We got some time.
Sure.
You guys want to go over some winners for today?
Let's do it.
Let's get get to it. Let's get to the sharp report here and talk about some CBB winners or just winners on the slate that we're liking for today. And I'll get it started out with Michigan on the hardwood, laying a big old number against Penn State. And wow, they're up to 9.5 now. Holy smokes. Michigan's coming off some bad games. They've lost 2 of their last 3. They just got spanked by Purdue, Jovan. Not just an L, but, emasculated in that game, 64-91. They lost on the road. So you got to assume Coach May's going back to the drawing board here, and he's looking at his guys after that game and saying, gents, take some breaths, hit the reset button, take the rest of the night off. But we got to lock back in like we were locked in the beginning of the season here. This Michigan roster is significantly more talented than they've shown over the last week and a half. But luckily for them, they have a Penn State team coming in that's been covering, not really winning games, but covering, keeping them close. And I think Michigan, looking at this spread, I think it's very telling. Up from 9.5 to 10. I think this one's going to be ugly. And we see the Wolverines win by double digits, maybe even 20 plus, Jovan. I don't see a world where Penn State's front court is able to slow down Wolf or Vlad in this contest. And if you look at some of Wolf's squares, it's looking like he's going to have a bounce back game after 2 atrocious offensive performances in those last 2 games. He barely even played half the game in that last contest when they were getting blown out because I think they just benched the starters, go back to the drawing board, hit the reset button. I'm expecting Danny Wolf to come out rejuvenated, hit that reset button, and look like the guy he was earlier this season carrying this offense. We'll talk about him more in a moment, but I'm seeing Michigan laying this big number, Jovan, as a sign that they destroy the Nittany Lions and get a big-time win here at home.
Yeah, I'm down. It's like you said, that front court is ridiculously small as is, and especially when you got 2 bigs in there that are going to demolish them in the PNR every single time down the court. It's hard to really think that they're going to stay in this game, especially on the road where they can't play basketball to save their lives.
Right. I don't know how Niederhauser or Hicks are going to be able to slow down Vlad and Danny Wolf. But anything can happen on any given night. I just think we're seeing Michigan laying a fat number here. Nobody wants to bet on them, too, after how they've looked. And against the covering machine over there at Penn State, Jovan, sign me up for this big number.
Sure.
I'll lay the fave.
Amen.
Okay. What are you cooking up over there for straight bets?
Start with the good old St. Louis Blues on the ice.
I like this play.
Yeah, we're talking about it. And shout out Aries for 5 gifted.
Wow, 5 subbies coming in. Let's go, Aries.
W Aries.
Attaboy.
Love it.
Dubs, my man. We appreciate you, Aries.
But yes, the Blues tonight up against the Canucks, which huge game, actually, because this is one of the couple games the Blues have in the next month or so where it's against a team that's relatively around them in the wild card race. So we're starting to get to that point in the season where these wins leading up to the All-Star break, or technically not the All-Star break at this point, it's the Four Nations break, are going to be pretty important. And this is one of them. This one, and then they play Utah coming up here in a couple days, and that's before a really tough stretch of hockey. So not only am I kind of projecting the importance of this game, but I think the Blues know it too, which is why going into this game, like they're coming off of a shutout, and the Canucks, conveniently are coming off of beating the Caps, which is impressive because nobody ever really thinks the Caps are ever going to get beaten. That's why they get nuked every game. But the Blues are switching up some lines coming into this game, not just because their offense looks so poor in the Stars game that got shut out, which they also outshot them, looked great. They just weren't able to get anything behind. I forget who started for the Stars in that game, but they're going for more speed in this game, which is why they reunited the top line. They're figuring out what's going behind them. So they're going to look for, open this game up a lot more than a Blues Canucks game would kind of indicate. So I think that works, and that's important for this game, especially with the Canucks going on the road. You're likely going to see Demko, who's been in a little bit of a slump. If not, it's Lankinen, and then Lankinen still kind of living off that crazy road streak in the beginning. So if you're catching steam against that guy on the road, fantastic, especially coming off a Caps game. But this is a pretty classic Blues Steel fat coin spot, and definitely helps that I'm already looking at, from before we even talked about the play, some Canucks plus Tricky free in the comments. So love to always fade that, but it's the Blues today.
Yeah, I know the Blues steal coins, right? They're pretty good at it, but not tonight. Love this play. Blues ML. St. Louis just got shut out. Vancouver just won a game outright as a dog. Let's take the Blues. Sitting at around 500 to bounce back here, catching steam against Vancouver with the winning record on the roads. Let's fade.
Sure.
Give me the Blues. I'm in. We got some subbies coming in. We got Risings coming in, resubbing. He says Blues Monday Megalodon.
Oh, Trent says he'll be on the Canucks. Fantastic. Last
Oh.
time we just heard a straight fade from Trent in the chat was the soccer play. So that went well.
Okay.
Love that.
Why are you going to be on the Canucks, Trent?
Trent just be spite fading, man. I love it, though.
He's just hating.
I love it.
All right. Flip it back to me, Gootsy. I got some more plays, I believe. How about this late night under in CBB? Let's go to it. You got UCLA, you got USC, and shout outs UCLA for cashing the under the other night. But their best player might be banged up a little bit in this game, Jovan Bilodeau. I don't know if he's playing. Yeah. I haven't heard anything about it. I wouldn't be shocked if he's out, but you had a good point earlier when we were talking about these games. That dude gets hurt damn near every game, and you end up seeing him out there the next game, or maybe he misses one. But we have not heard anything about Bilodeau, but that could be why we're seeing the line move towards USC, flipping from a dog to a fave. If I had to guess, I'd probably say that's what it is. Or maybe people are just fading UCLA without their potential star. But that kept me off a side here. Instead, I want to go with the under. Okay. If you think about this UCLA and Washington game from over the weekends, I think it was late night Saturday nights, got out to a hot offensive start. Both teams were running up and down the floor. They were shooting threes. They were cashing them. They were putting up hella points. Bilodeau was looking great. And then he twisted his ankle. And UCLA, they looked like a shell of themselves on offense. They almost ended up blowing that game and losing it. They had to lock in. They had to clamp. And that was pretty much the only thing they had going for them in that game was their defense without their star scorer, Bilodeau, in that contest. Well, even if we have a banged up Bilodeau in this game, which I'm expecting him to be out, but if he's banged up or if he's out, I think the Bruins have one heck of a time scoring in this contest on the road after they just pulled off, barely hung on to that big win on the road against Washington. And I think UCLA's defense can stand on business and slow down USC as well, who's coming off a big win. People are starting to say they're back. They've won 3 of their last 4 games. They're coming off a big-time outright win against Nebraska on the road when they were +7 dogs and won that game outright. So personally, to me, this looks like a fat, happy, and complacent spot for Muss Bus and the Trojans, who welcome in UCLA without potentially their best player. I'll take the under in this game. I think UCLA's defense shines in this one, and I'm not expecting them to score much without their star or if he's banged up.
Yeah. I don't know if I have it in me to take, I think, 2 unders in a row with the same team, but I really don't think otherwise. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I didn't love that, but maybe this will help cancel it out. The Trojans, 9-1 to the over in their last 10. I mean, they have not sniffed an under of late. So seeing this total drop could be a good sign.
Could be.
All right, let's flip it back around to Jovan's plays. Let's see what his second straight bet is. I saw some people in chat talking about it. Could that be Houston Christian?
Yes, it is. Good old Houston Christian, the GOATs.
Yep.
They're on the road, which this would probably not make you like it anymore, Krabs, because they've sneakily been dialed on the road so far this season, like ATS, which obviously nobody knows because nobody's betting Houston Christian, but they've been fantastic on the road. I think this team is sneakily a lot more talented than I don't want to say people give it credit for, because again, nobody pays attention to Houston Christian, but in terms of like the top teams in the conference, I think they're a lot closer to the Texas A&M Corpus Christi's of the world. I'm not going to compare them to McNeese, but they're sitting tied third with a lot of these teams, kind of a log jam. They get to go on the road to southeastern Louisiana, which they're a bigger team in terms of everybody in the Southland. So like they like to use their size to their advantage. Sam Hines is also goated, comes from USF. He's their leading scorer. Buckley is also fantastic. But the one thing, because they have that big O for Rowbury in the paint. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but if you haven't taken an eye on Sela playing basketball with big Rowbury in the paint, it's kind of funny. He's massive, can't move around very well. So for a team like Houston Christian, who's just so chaotic, like they rim run. That's really all they do. They're not the greatest shooting team. Nobody in the Southland, not named McNeese, really is, but they rim run. They have a couple of guards that get to the paint really, really well, and they just kind of do it without a plan. They play a lot of ISO ball, which it's not great if like you were to put that on paper and say you're betting on it, but against a team that I think is going to be in a blender defensively, and you have a big in the game that's not very mobile, and you can't just play him off the court because this is the Southland Conference. You're not deep enough to do that. I feel like a team like this makes Sela very, very uncomfortable. I think they're going to get to the rim and get to the line kind of at ease. They like to play a lot faster than Sela too, so they can run in transition. So think they take them out of their comfort zone, and I think they might be liable to win this game, which is again a massive game for standings purposes in the Southland Conference. So, give me Houston Christian plus a 6.
Big time game for Houston Christian. Big time game in the Southland Conference tonight. Red hot Sela on a win streak. Hey, Houston Christian's been playing well of late as well. They've won 4 of their last 5.
Been playing
spread
great.
is trickling down. 6.5 to 5.5 now I'm seeing. And Sela's got a win streak against Houston Christian as well. So,
they're
could be
awful.
time we see an upset here.
Usually awful. They're usually like the worst team in the conference. This is like the first year that they're somewhat decent.
Okay. We got a first-time chatter coming in. Bihar Blanco, what's the most useful free site for research? It's a good question. I'd recommend Pickit, Pikkit. Check it out on the App Store, Google Play. A lot of these sites, they make you pay for subscriptions. They make you pay to see splits. They make you pay to see data. Pickit might not have the biggest pool of data or splits, right? But at least it's real. You know where it's coming from, and it's pretty much all the data tracked on the app. It's growing rapidly month to month with the users. So I'd say Pickit, probably the best useful free site out there for research. Check out the App Store. Check out the app on the App Store or Google Play. Okay. Use code Shelly when you sign up. Yes. Trent's in chat talking about his model leaning Sela, the edge meter.
So sure. Incredibly sure.
Okay. All right. Let's flip it back, Jovan. I got one more straight bet for the peeps, and then we'll come back to that ML on your cards. But I got one more play. Late night system has to be done. I'm not happy about it. I'm not excited for it, but that probably means it's a winner. How about Arizona laying 2.5? I'll take the ML, though, against Iowa State and the Cyclones, ranked 3rd in the country. This Cyclones team is legit, Jovan, and typically fading them is bad business, but I cannot resist fading them on the roads against an Arizona team that's starting to finally show up and show some life, right? Like if this Arizona team didn't just put 92 points up against Oklahoma State 2 games ago on the roads and just destroy them in a sketchy spot in Stillwater that they typically would get caught up in, I probably wouldn't be as inclined to take this and lay Arizona here at home as a favorite against a ranked team, a system that people made a ton of coins about last year, right? People are pretty hip to it this season, and it has not been nearly as profitable. Well, I'll take the bait in this spot. I'll take Arizona as a favorite at home. They're starting to look pretty good. They've won 4 of their last 5, and the Cyclones, although they are one of the best teams in the country, we know anybody can beat anybody in any given night in CBB, especially on the roads. And with them coming off that big-time outright win on the road against Arizona State, I would not be shocked if they fall flat on their faces at the end of this road stand with a trip to Arizona.
Yeah, I don't disagree either. I find it hard to believe they'll come away with 2 in that little Arizona road trip. And I love Iowa State probably as much as the next guy, probably 50 times more, because they're a really good team. They're kind of like my sneak. Them and Texas Tech, I guess I really like in the Big 12 more than a lot of people do. But this is a tough one, I would say.
Yep. This is a tough one. We got Jeremy H coming in, giving out a subby to the peeps. Let's go, Jeremy. Atta boy. Appreciate you, my man. Blessing up the chat with a subby. Goat. Trap line of the day, Iowa State by 1 million, man. All right. Good luck, shmoney's. 2 words, Caleb Love. Yeah, I hate betting on Caleb Love, but sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do it. You got to sack up and put your hatred to the sides, and you got to lay it with Arizona. Time or 2.
Sure.
Money Habits likes Michigan. I do too. Love that play tonight. Let's go ahead and circle back to Jovan's cards and see what last straight bet he's got for the peeps today.
Clips. Moving to a favorite. Flipping to a favorite on the road against the Suns tonight, which I do like betting on the Clippers when they're in their fully healthy version, or for the most part, fully healthy version. Then you're going to get Kawhi tonight, which is great. You're going to be facing a Suns team that's got an injury or 2. Ryan Dunn, which is actually probably kind of a big deal, I guess, defensively, especially against a couple of those guards for the Clippers. But mainly, I mean, I think the front court, there's a mismatch. Nick Richards has been fantastic for the entirety of his little short stint with the Suns, but he's gotten very fortunate with some of the matchups he's gotten. And especially like in the rebounding category. Like, he's faced a ton of teams that just cannot have any physical force, both on the boards and just overall protecting the rim, which is why he's been so great. So, not that I think he's going to get completely bageled here, but a matchup with this defense and as a whole, but also Zubac in the paint is his toughest test yet, especially from the defensive side of the ball. Like, I think Zubac is going to actually feast on him. You can make your argument that Nick Richards is going to get what he wants offensively to some degree on Zubac, but I think Zubac is going to be able to answer it right back. And then you add into the fact that you got Kawhi in this team, you got Harden who's going for some assist record or whatever tonight. We'll see if he gets it, but this feels like a spot for the Clippers, and you don't see, I don't know, a flip like this on the road too often. And I want to get in with the Clippers while I can before Kawhi's out for 3 more months.
Is the flip injury related at all? I'm looking at the,
not as far as I know, unless you really think Ryan Dunn's moving lines.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, that's weird. Give me the Clips on the roads. Always done the Fade Bradley Beal Cup.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I'm in. Yeah, I'm not seeing any weird injuries. Maybe something will come out late, but typically the NBA, we know, at least relatively by now.
Yeah,
all right.
At least you have a guy like questionable to some degree. Don't know that I see that.
Taking the Clippers on the ML, flipping from a dog to a faith. Not taking the bait on the Wizards, who've lost like 13 straight games.
Yeah. Wanted to, but not going to do it.
Yeah, can't. All right, let's pivot. Let's talk about some prize pick squares that we like for tonight. Let's get the people right on prize picks. Talk about some squares that we love. I mentioned Danny Wolf earlier in a game where I like points, in a game where I like Michigan, in a game where I'm struggling to see both small forwards on Penn State slowing down Vlad or Danny Wolf. I think he grubs after his worst game, probably in a Michigan uniform. 2 terrible games combined in his last 2 games. He's only made 1 field goal. Embarrassing. He barely even played in that last game. They benched him. I think they benched a majority of the starters after it was a blowout, but hit the reset button, my man. You got to come back strong and playing like you were in the beginning of the season. And against these soft forwards for Penn State, it's got to be Danny Wolf. And if you look at his squares on prize picks today, I think you could probably get with me on this one. Very, very high numbers and high squares.
Yeah. I cannot disagree in the slightest if you want to take Danny Wolf or Vlad anything today, because it's going to be the way they win this game by quite a bit.
Yep. Has to be. And then I'm fading Desmond Claude tonight. In a game I like the under, I'm fading USC's highest, or their leading score, right? He's averaging about 16 points per game. I'm fading him in a game where I think we see UCLA's guards clamp up. If you look at how that game went after Bilodeau went out, you saw UCLA's defense shine. The majority of the rest of that game, their guards clamp. They might not be able to score much. Mick Cronin's been bitching about it, but ever since he yelled at them, you've seen some effort on the defensive side of the ball. And if you look at Washington's box score, sure, great Osabar had a great day. That guy's pretty hard to cover. He's a pretty good ball player, if I could say so myself. But not a single guard on that Washington team in that last game had over 10 points. Because UCLA's guards, they're really good at defense. They can't put the ball in the hoop much, but they can surely guard. And in a game where I like the under, in a game where I thought UCLA opened up a favor, it was kind of telling with their best player injured. I think we see USC's offense struggle for the first time in a couple weeks. They've cashed the over in like 9 out of their last 10 games, 5 in a row as well. I think we see their best offensive scorer, their best guard, Desmond Claude, struggle for the first time in a while, coming off a great game. We'll fade his points. We'll take his less than.
You got me salivating for some CBB squares, Trent, or Krabs. I know Trent was itching for some squares over the weekend, and I was trying to tell him, dude, like I can't get in the lab the same. It's unbelievable.
I'll send you screenshots.
I know. I just need
the boards.
I'll be hitting the book. But I'm tailing.
Yeah. SBR loves Danny Wolf today. No way. SBR might be the hottest batter in the space. Knock on wood. Let's go SBR. Sure we can. Adam coming in hot with his Krabs square of the day. Jalen Wells, less than 1.5 3-pointers made. Take a peek at that.
Green as paw.
Very green. Let me go take a peep at that. Maybe mark that one. Bookmark it for later. And craft a lineup.
Got a lot of squares on the board.
Ooh.
We can talk about Krabs.
That's a very greened out 3-point square. Okay. Adam, as always, in chat, thank you for your service. I will certainly have that square in something. All right. L'Jarius Sneed, less than half a pass deflection. Okay.
That was, I
Cannot believe I just read that out loud.
generational horrendous square from Trent. And I guarantee you he doesn't even know that L'Jarius Sneed is not on the Chiefs anymore.
Yeah. Somebody in chat's talking about Bradley Beal. What are we doing? Hey, I'm Matt. Are we taking Beal over 1.5 threes? Kind of love it. Oh, God. We could take his less than 1.5 threes. Fade him out of spite.
I don't know if I would fade Beal tonight.
Matt, you won't see me taking Bradley Beal more than. It just can't happen. Cannot happen. All right, Jovan, I want to hear your squares. What are you cooking up for today?
Talking about some green 3-point squares. I'll give you a red one. And I guess both of these are technically red, not 3-point squares. But Clay is. And I've been waiting very patiently because he's kind of been like not full Julius pork to the point where it's been up for like months now and it's been super red. But it's been red for like a week and a half. And it's been up on the board. Haven't really found a spot that I wanted to get involved with. But against your Wizards, I certainly will. And as bad as the Wizards are in the paint, they are equally as bad behind the 3-point line and arguably worse. And they've been one of the most fortunate teams in all of basketball as of late because they give up plenty of open looks. Guys just have not been knocking them down, which has been the most insane thing that I've seen. They've given up like the most open 3 looks in the NBA above the break and in the corner in the past like 3 weeks. But you got guys repeatedly shooting tordates from it, which obviously with Clay is a concern. But I think the looks are going to be there, so I'm going to take it. But if you look back at like what some of the guys have been doing, like you had Norman Powell go for like 2 for 10 from 3, half of them wide open. Devin Booker went 0 for 8 and above the break pretty much entirely. Shot absolute tordates. Ryan Dunn also shot tordates in that game. I remember I stuck him in a lineup, and Austin Reeves shot tordates with wide open spot ups. Max Christie also got a bunch of spot ups in that game. So the looks are quite very obviously there against the Wizards. And I think Clay is the guy to take advantage of that today. He's been on a massive slump. So I think this is exactly what he needs to kind of get over that. So it's been up for a while. I've been trying to figure out when I'm going to take it. I have no choice but to take it today against you guys. So get in with me on Clay. And this one also happens to be a red out chart, but I'm not taking it for that reason. Talk.
Time out. Love the square. Love the sell job. Clay's banging 3 threes against the Wizards tonight, if not more. Okay.
Right.
But there's another guy on the Mavs tonight. Might be a free bingo card square.
I know.
Cannot believe you didn't put it on there. I can't believe I didn't put it on there. To be honest with you, a revenge game. You know who I'm going to bring up?
Daniel Gafford, of course.
Oh, no. I was going to say Dinwiddie.
Oh, Dinwiddie, dude?
Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie's PRA is high as ma.
Well, that's because they're playing shorthanded.
Well, I'll tell you what. Every time he plays against the Wizards, it's like it's his fucking championship. Which just simply means more for him. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see Din Shitty come through. And he did come through for us last time we took him. People forget that.
People do forget that. Everybody hated that square from you. And it was the freest of all time.
I mean, he's got a 3.5 rebound square up Jovan that's red for the last 5. He's got a 4.5 assist square that might be the nastiest more than on the boards. Completely read it out chart. Hasn't even sniffed 4 in the last 4 games. He's up for 4.5. And then his points are high as heck too. I mean, look, I know they're going against the Wizards. Like you're saying, they're shorthanded as well, so he'll get more minutes. And it'll probably be a blowout, so he'll probably play more as well. There's definitely some Dallas squares to incorporate in tonight's slate. That's for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I also think on the other side, the only reason this is not up here is because it seems to be Twitter POD today. But you hear what Kuz said recently?
Oh God, what
he
could
literally
Kuz
just said,
possibly said.
He literally just said, "I'm done like trying to fit into the system, and I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna demand the ball and like be pork pretty much."
Okay.
It's like
I'm sure the coaches love hearing that.
I'm sure they love hearing that, and I'm sure he just doesn't care at this point, which I think is good if you're taking Mavs squares, because I don't know how locked in he's going to be defensively, but he's probably going to take 20 shots today. So like I don't know how he doesn't just absolutely go off in this matchup. This is perfect.
I mean, we could make a fucking Moe stack in this game. You could take
it would be a good one to stack.
3 Mavs and Kuzma, and you could probably cash. Would you take his 17.5 points?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Kyle Kuzma loves saying dumb things sometimes. We'll see if he can back it up on the court.
Yeah.
All right. And we are not taking Julius Randle. I know I saw that earlier in chats. He's banned. We're done. We're done. Nope. Done. Finito.
Dude, no way we're not taking him.
We're done with Julius Pork. Put him off to the side with Miami basketball. We can't. We can't. In the Big 2-5, we got to hang him up with Julius Pork. We got to hang him up. Now, with that being said, he is up for 1.5 threes.
No, I don't think he is anymore.
He's up for 2.5 threes deep. So we couldn't even take him if we wanted to.
When Krabs rules out a nasty square, when we're getting to that point, that's when you know he's about to be generational tonight.
Could be when you buy back in.
That could so be when you buy in. That's like when Trent hangs it up with a goat. Like if he takes Gunner for 5 straight games and then he's finally like, I'm done. Then he hits 3 tanks. Yep. It's like the equivalent of that.
That's going to happen a lot this year.
When he breaks it, when Julius Pork finally bangs 2 threes and turns green on his card, he's probably going to hit more than 2. Like it's probably going to be just
the threes isn't even the option. It's 20.5 points, I guess, is the option.
Yeah.
Or I guess PRA or whatever. I haven't figured that out yet, but I don't know.
You like points in that game, Minnesota, Atlanta tonight?
Yeah, I kind of do. I'm definitely worried a little bit about the blowout because Trey and Jalen Johnson are playing. So I guess that's the big concern. It's like, how are they going to score? I don't really know. Vic Krejci is going to have to be like the greatest hooper of all time, but it's possible.
Okay. Yeah, Skywalker, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And Jovan's not either. Typically when I say put the guy off to the side, they end up splooging and having a career die. So, yeah, this could be the time to buy back in. But the MLB plays back on the board. I'm trying to craft. I know, Trent. Soon, bro. Probably like a week or 2.
What are you crafting, Trent? Right? You ain't crafting,
man. Big Cheesy likes Dyson Daniels. Big Nick's got Sabonis points. All right, we can take a peep at some of these squares. Before we do that, I want to get that Erik Karlsson sell drop. I want to make sure we don't cut that one short.
Yeah, so it's another super red chart, fully red chart points-wise. And I'm not taking it just for that purpose, but they're playing the Sharks today. And Malkin is supposed to be out. I believe this is the first game with him out. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. So, like, that whole top line is going to be in a really good spot today. So, like, the obvious part of it is it's the Sharks who give up a ridiculous amount of SOGs to everybody on the ice, really. But they're up there, I think, second in terms of SOGs getting up to defensemen. So, I think if we're talking like what the Penguins are going to do, obviously, I think you're going to be very aggressive on the road. They're going to have to do that without Malkin, which increases, I don't know, the aggressiveness of everybody else. And I think mainly it's going to be from the 2 studs that are on the ice, and Sidney Crosby and Erik Karlsson. Definitely helps that Karlsson's also facing his former team that he was there with for a while. So I think he's going to be aggressive for 50,000 different reasons today. I think the Penguins are going to score goals. I think there's going to be a lot of action up and down the ice, high-paced game. I think he gets involved with a point, whether it's on special teams or in the regular 5-on-5 run of play. So, I mean, it's super red. You're getting like a Sharks tax. That's possibly why a lot of the red squares are going to be up for that game. But I think he's getting involved today.
All right. Maybe we see Erik Karlsson show up for the first time in a minute. Okay. You think the Penguins come through?
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know who's going to be for sure in net for them yet. I don't know if that's been confirmed since we started, because that was a question mark. They're in kind of a tough scheduling spot too. I'm talking about the Sharks, not the Pens, but
yep.
You can really never catch me taking anybody minus 160 on the road against the Sharks.
Yeah. I'm seeing 2 unconfirmed goalies, Alex Nedeljkovic and Yaroslav Askarov.
Askarov, yeah.
How did I do on those pronunciations?
Askarov wasn't bad. Nedeljkovic was kind of pork, but I'll give you 1.
Nedeljkovic. Unconfirmed.
Yeah, Needle Dick, the GOAT.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you think that line is weird for Pitt laying 165? I know they're not playing great, but the Sharks have been atrocious, so they're probably going to be laying something.
They're on a pretty bad stretch, but still depends. You can never really make them that big of favorites against anybody on the road, really any bigger, I guess, unless you're playing maybe the Blackhawks, who I guess maybe that wouldn't apply now, but I don't think it's too weird. I wouldn't be shocked if the Sharks got one.
Rav said we're tanking now. It's over.
Yeah,
I've never seen
it is. It is Malkin. It is the first game without Malkin in the lineup too.
Oh damn!
So that's part of the reason why I'm taking Carlson, but it's probably also baked into the line a little bit.
Pens will find a way to lead 2-0 and still go 3-3 take.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they've been a annoying team to bet on this year, on the ice to say the least.
Yeah.
All right. W squares, Jovan. Klay Thompson banging some threes against my whiz kids, and Eric Carlson getting more than more than half a point on the ice. W's.
Yep.
Love it. All right, chat. We could spend some time crafting, looking at prize picks here as well in a sec. Let's see what else we got to go over for today. I think we can kind of pick and choose here. We got about 25 minutes. Already went over, our favorite plays for today. Jovan, I know the slates in the NBA on the ice. It's nothing to write home about to Ma and Pa, but if you want to take the leads and if you feel strongly about, any leagues, we can go over some of these games.
I mean, I definitely got some squares from some of these games in the association.
You want to talk some NBA squares? Maybe craft up a lineup?
I'd be down for that.
Okay. I have that Jalen Wells square just sitting in the bank for tonight.
Sitting.
So we got that. And I'm sure there's some other weird 3-point squares as well.
There's just quite a bit. The Magic have a couple up today, which I've had a pretty tough time picking out, I guess. I think the Magic beat the Heat. So, I mean, I debated betting on that. I still probably might, but there's a couple up there. The whole team's pretty much up there for threes, almost the entire starting five, so for 1.5. So, I mean, take your pick, whichever one you want to go with there. I think they all might be asking some questions.
Okay. Let's see. The chat's bringing up some of these nasty squares as well. You got Jade McBuckets on Minnesota, although it's not fully green. McBride's.
Yeah, McBride is an interesting one.
Not fully reds.
I'll tell you, and I mean, perfect timing, Matt and chat. Whenever I see a guy on the 3-point board, whether it's a half, whether it's 1.5, it's a role player guy that is not typically on there, and he's on there for like one of the first times in a while as a normal square, spawns green. And it's just happens to be, I think, the very last square on the board.
KP Jr.
KPJ.
Okay. Half a 3. Sure. That's a nasty square. Goes with your Clippers play as well. We'll be tapped into that game.
Yeah.
All right.
Will be.
Suggs has a 1.5 threes. It's green.
Yeah. The weirdest Magic one is probably KCP.
Yeah. The GOAT. Love me some KCP, although he doesn't really take care of the bankroll.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the couple times we've taken him, he has respected our coin for the most part.
He's respected. He's taken. I don't know what the record is at this point. We've taken him a good amount.
A decent amount, yeah.
1.5 threes for Orlando against your Heat tonight. How do you think that game plays out?
I mean, I think the Magic win on the road in Miami. It's just classic. I don't want to say the letdown spot because I mean it's not like you're getting up big from beating the Rat Meat Nets, but after you have like a couple weird games or the Heat do like on the road, which they just did going to Brooklyn and then playing that nationally televised game against the Bucks where they got porked and still despite like all the Bucks travel issues or whatever, they always come back and they let down, especially when they play a tough defense, which kind of think that's how it's gonna go today. So again, with like all the the defensive adjustments that are needed with this lineup because obviously there's no Jimmy. Duncan Robinson's playing more minutes. He couldn't defend me if I was out there. So spot up shooters are naked.
And that would be KCP.
Yes. I mean, one of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, great point here from Cheesy. Probably the closest square, the first out square of the Sharp report was 100% Keegan Murray.
Okay.
Same system. I took Duncan when he was playing the Nets because the Nets also terrible against spot up shooters, against like the pure spot up guys. And I've been playing that no matter really who laces them up in terms of what spot up shooter it is on what team against the Nets. It's just been absolutely green because they pinch pretty hard on pick and rolls. So like, obviously, if you're the Kings, that's going to be a lot of Fox and Sabonis and Malik Monk when he handles the ball, but they make life tough on that. So all the spot up shooters naturally are nude. And Keegan Murray is exactly that.
Mm-hmm. You like his points, 12.5?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If Kuzma's trucking, do we think Gafford rebounds? Matt, I'm down to circle back to that game and see if we can craft up like a, lineup in the same game there, potentially. Let's see if we can come up with a lineup, though, keeping that game out of it. Right now, I got Jalen Wells, less than 1.5 3-pointers made. I got Kevin Porter, half a 3. I didn't put in KCP yet because we already got some 3-pointer squares, but I did put that Keegan Murray points in there from you, talking about how he's going to be butt naked, wide open the majority of this game.
Right.
Okay. Does Chad have any other nasty squares in the NBA tonight that they want us to look at?
Potentially get you involved with, or wait, you said you had Kevin Porter in there?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say put Zubac in there, but you probably don't want 2 Clippers.
What do you like about Zubac?
I mean, he's like 70% of the reason I'm taking the Clippers in that game. I think he's going to dominate Nick Richards.
You looking at his PRA?
Looking at anything. I think I like his points more than the rebounding aspect, but I know you're looking at the charts and they're pretty awfully similar. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah. Is Nick Richards Twitter PID again today? Or no?
I mean, I've seen him a decent bit, but not complete Twitter PID level.
Okay. He also just came off a crazy good game. Straight Locks is talking about in chat.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of those. Richards has, but it's also been because he's been getting
Sam Oliver coming in,
cookie matchups. Shout out Sam.
Let's go Sam. He's been getting cookie matchups.
Cookie.
Tonight he's got a matchup against a behemoth over there on the Clippers, Zubac, a guy who nobody ever really likes to take or put respect on his name, but he's pretty reliable, I would say. Big Zoobs.
Big Zoob.
You'd rather go his 14 points. I mean, if you prefer that, I got no qualms with that. It's extremely red as well.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be down.
Zubac has scored 20 plus against the Suns both times this season. Okay.
Shout out Nurkic.
All right. Clint Capella rebounds as green as Ma, 9 out of 10 in his last 10 away. Whoa. Let's take a look at Mr. Capella. I don't know if I can get there with Mr. Capella's. He's still coming off a bad game, so probably don't want to fade him even if the rest of the chart's green. Cade PRA from Twitch Millie. If you're not taking Max Christie under points tonight, then I don't know. That's a crazy take.
Max Christie under points. That's an insane sentence to just say.
Against the Hornets tonight. The total in that game is up as well, which scares me. I could totally be convinced to fade a relatively green chart.
It's Lakers Hornets. I don't think that total's ever going to be moving down.
Yeah. You like the Knicks tonight, Jovan? Big Dog's asking.
Do I like the Knicks?
Against the Grizzlies.
Not particularly. I don't really have a strong take in that game, to be honest with you. You're probably Not going to catch me taking the Grizzlies until they cool down a little bit, but I definitely do not want to fade them right now, especially when we got Ja in the Garden, dude. And Mikey Over's boots on ground. I can't bet the Knicks ever.
I was about to say, shout out Mike. Being at the game. I think he was at the game the other night as well.
Yeah.
And they called a dub. W Mike, W Content up there at the Garden. W Chelly yesterday, cash in another NFL lineup on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
Samaje Perine. Meant to shout him out earlier. Crazy lineup from Chelly last night. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, we got Mikey Overs streaming TMA, in the morning, and Trent's canceling Surge because he has cake the day before. Like, where's the heart? Where's the heart, man? Unbelievable.
You said it, not me. Yeah, the Chelly dance video is a geek.
It's so funny.
Unbelievable. Good to see you cashed. I saw it tweeted out. He's like, my last 4 prize picks lineups in the NFL, and 2 were green, fat payouts, and 2 were like one-off hooks. I was like, oh my God, he's dialed. All right. We got a couple squares locked in right now. We might not go Max Christie fade today, although I respect whoever said that in chat. You got some cojones. Okay. Right now I got Jalen Wells, Kevin Porter, Keegan Murray, and Zubac chilling in a 4-man. 2 points and 2 3 squares, which is diversified enough for me to take. Magic ML Big Dog likes. Let's try to finish up the prize picks lineup here, Big Dog. All right. What do you think, Jovan? Do you not like any of those squares? Wells, Kevin Porter, Keegan, or Zubac?
I mean, I really don't care for Wells, but I know there's probably nothing getting you off of that one.
Well,
probably need a little nasty in the lineup.
That total is so high too, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to leave that one in, but I could see it being cake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to tell you otherwise. Just leave it.
Kuzma. I do want to craft up a lineup in that game. Involving some of those squares. All right, I'm going to lock in this 4-man, and I will send you guys the link. Jalen Wells, less than 1.5 threes from Adams Got Wales. We got Kevin Porter Jr. to bang a 3. Keegan Murray, more than 12.5 points. And Zubac, more than 14 points to take us home. Sure. 10Xer. I will drop the link for you guys if you want to get involved. Okay. Yeah, there's too many good squares in this Wizards game.
Just gotta hope to keep it close.
I mean, they're so due for a fucking win, man. This is, I feel like, when we should be taking maybe a Wizard square too.
Yeah.
Although I'm down to just go Kuzma and then stack all Mavs as well. Like, I'm not opposed to doing that either. Chat, I dropped the link to that lineup that I crafted up in the NBA that I was just talking about and yapping about. If you want to tail that puppy, the link is in the chat. Okay? If you were to take a Wizard today, why don't we start with that?
Sure.
That's a crazy line. But if you were to take a Wizard today, I'm assuming it would be Kuzma after those comments.
Of course.
Are you taking his points? Or are you taking his...
I think it's points.
Yeah, he doesn't have any, like, field goals attempted or anything like that.
Yeah, I wish he did. I probably would take that.
All right, let's look at some Mavericks. We could probably get Gaff involved with rebounds in some capacity in this one. Although it's pretty green. Does he have an assist square up? No. He's got a 1.5 fucking goblin assist square that's green as ma. Any opinions on Gaff? Or is he not speaking to you?
I mean, he's not speaking to me too much. That's like the revenge narrative that's kind of obvious because you'd want to attack the Wizards in the paint, I guess. But I don't know. I have Gafford fatigue.
Okay. And you've already got Klay Thompson 3s, which we can keep in here for now. But if we find some more Mav squares that we like, we can always replace since we already have that in the Sharp Report 4-man. This could be when we get Dinwiddie involved. Am I going to get you to the counter with Dinwiddie?
Yeah, to diversify.
I think this is when you go PRA for him. And you encapsulate everything. And he just turns into that 5-tool player. Does it all.
Right.
He's also got 3 categories of, completely read it out charts. So that
sure
helps.
Did.
Take the PRA. Okay. Any other Mavericks up on the board, chat, that you guys are looking at? Now's the time to drop them. Trying to make a Moe's stack here. You think Kyrie goes off?
I mean, yeah, somebody's got to be feeding catch and shoot to Klay. It's me at least from the assist front.
Ooh.
Kyrie
does have a redded out assists and a redded out rebound square. The rebounds is actually red. The assist is 4 for 5. We could combo those mobs and take his RA like you were saying.
I could be so in on that.
Okay. Any PJ Washington love?
Maybe. I mean, he's been generational lately.
Right. Not in a rush to probably take him today. Okay. Let's see if they got any other Mavs up in this puppy. Quentin Grimes. Sure. He's up for 11.5 points. Not really speaking to me.
That could be goated.
This could be the 4-man right here, bro. Kuzma, Klay, Spence, and Kyrie. You go Kuzma more than 17.5 points. He pretty much said the other day, fuck it. I'm not listening to the coach. I'm just jacking shots and doing me. Surely that goes over well in the locker room. You got Klay Thompson, more than 2.5 threes from Jovan on the Sharp Report. You got Spencer Dinwiddie, revenge game, more than PRA. He's going to turn back into probably prime Kyrie Irving. And speaking of Kyrie Irving, he's going to get the rebounds and the assists and be a team guy for tonight. Love that. Love that. That's a 10Xer that could smack just in that Wizards game alone, folks.
Would love that.
Okay. I'll drop the link. If you guys want to get involved in that Wizards, mainly Mavs, but Wizards Mavs 10Xer. Link is in the chat.
While we're talking just squares, Krabs.
Ooh.
I have to say, can't let this get swept under the rug on the ice. You got Connor McDavid coming back from his 3-game suspension tonight at home against the Kraken. Can't let it get swept. Because I'm going to have to physically take some of his squares. You got SOGs up there. He's got point demons up there at 2.5, which I'll probably take 2. But I guess the SOG is probably a little bit more reasonable. So I have no choice. Especially, I mean, in a matchup like the Kraken, he's probably going to be ripping to shreds.
God, squaring up for Kitch and taking the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I do my best work when I choose to find spots to square up with hockey goats. I can't not bet on McDavid ripping today. I just can't. It's not in me.
Okay. What do you think you're going to pair it with? Are you going to put it in a lineup with, 4 other guys in a demon lineup? Or are you going to pair it with another square, make it a 2-piece? Have you gotten that far?
I mean, I slipped in a 2-piece just to have something in with Carlson, but I'll probably throw some demons together because it is a decent sized demon. It's not like one of the plus 100 ones. I think it's like plus 150. So you get a little juice on it. So
maybe a 2-piece here could work.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're saying you might just pair with your Carlson square?
Well, I already did that just to have something in with it, but I need to think about it a little more, get some more squares together, maybe in a demon geyser and find some pairs.
Yeah, 100 pays 400 there instead of 3. So
yeah,
I just locked that 2-piece in with you. If you end up locking that in with anything else, please let me know.
Yeah,
I'll drop the link to that 2-piece in the chat if they want to get involved on that NHL lineup. Okay. Sure. Not a lot of times you can get me involved in a GOAT, but if you're telling me you're squaring up, you're taking him, he's got a pretty redded out chart as well. You think he's going to be ripping puck in a game with a high total? I could be convinced.
Yeah.
I could be convinced.
And while we're talking about that, maybe shift to the ice. Because high total game that I also will be taking the over in. Out there, and I think it's in Edmonton. Yeah, in Edmonton. So, I mean, I like that over. The Kraken are just an absolute shambles. I mean, big buzz to the lineup, of course, for the Oilers, getting McDavid back after 3 games with him absent. I feel like they got everything out they needed to in the last handful of games. I mean, they're minus 300. They haven't been, I would say, like particularly impressive in the last week. I mean, they were really good against the Canucks, but other than that, I mean, they squeaked a win against the Sabres. They lost 2 other games. So, like, this one feels like they're going to come out. But when everything looks like the Kraken are dead in the water, that's exactly when they show up in the least expected times. So I probably think that comes with goals. I don't know who's starting for the Kraken either, because Grubauer has been on the shelf for a while. Maybe it's his turn to come back in this game. I haven't checked if goalies are confirmed since we started BTL, but even if it's Decord, I mean, I think that the Oilers are going to come out buzzing, but the Kraken probably won't just lay down either. So, I mean, I like goals.
Total in this game up from 5.5 to 6.5.
Yeah.
See some goals in this one. Okay. Seattle coming in off of 2 straight unders. Edmonton coming in off an under as well in their last game. All right. Let's get some points. Let's get some goals. Sure. We got somebody in chat asking about CBB squares, OG Sour. I did go over 2 of those for the Sharp Report. I do like Danny Wolf more than PRA for Michigan. He goes off today against Penn State. And then I like Desmond Claude's less than points for the Trojans tonight. All right, Danny Wolf more than PRA and Desmond Claude less than points. Dobbs. Any other plays on the ice you want to talk about, or you want to move on to the squad rounds?
I think it's just the over in the Kraken game and the Blues for me. There's definitely in one of those games that's a similar line, I guess, maybe excluding the Sharks, even though I think the Sharks can get it done too. Those early games between Kings, Red Wings, and Devils, Flyers, I would probably go out on a limb and say one of those dogs is probably winning. It's probably going to be the Flyers. So the Devils look, they're in a kind of a tough spot, I guess. They've kind of figured it out the last couple of games, but tricky on the road against Philly. So, but mainly Blues and Kraken over.
I was looking at that Philly game. If they haven't beaten the Devils 4 of the last 5 times they played them, they typically own them.
Yeah, they have their number a little bit.
About adding that to the cards. So yeah, Flyers catching steam, still lean that way for sure. Sitting at 500s, catching steam against the Devils, who looked much better of late. You're seeing that line move 15, 20 cents towards Philly at home. Maybe they just have the Devils number.
Yeah, could be.
All right. Dubs, chat, you guys ready to get involved with the squad ride? Most important part of our day today. Craft up a POD winner for tonight that we can all sweat out and cash.
Do you have any CBB plays left from the board before we get there?
I don't think so. I didn't love the slate today. I'll be completely honest. Give me Michigan on the spreads. Ohio State laying that number is ridiculous, but I'm not betting it. Can't do it. Duke, NC State, another fat spread there as well. Duke's been on fire. I hate NC State. I think they're frauds, or else I would bet on them. Tough spot there. And then I'm on, the under in UCLA, USC, and Arizona ML late nights. I don't really have any other thoughts on these games, though.
Fair. I was looking through to see any ones that I might have missed. I definitely, I was about to get to the counter with this over the weekend before I think some injury news dropped, and UT Rio Grande was missing one of their top scorers. So, that line got up to 12. But this is, I think, the only game that you're probably going to see from start to close McNeese a single-digit favorite in all of conference play. And it's kind of a weird spot. Maybe you see it next game too at Nichols, but I don't think you're going to be perfect through conference play. I think they're going to drop one. And frankly, this Texas A&M Corpus Christi gave them fits last year, and they should have lost that game. They won at the buzzer. But if they're going to lose a game, it's probably going to be this week. So, I think I'm getting some serious only I don't want to fade McNeese very often. This one I am 100% getting the counter with because I think this is probably the one where they sweat a little bit.
Corpus Christi plus 8.5 at home. They did almost beat them last year at home on the plates. And then McNeese spanked them in that next matchup. But yeah, maybe you see some of those vibes return with this game back at Corpus Christi. Keep that one within a touchdown. All right. Another game I'll shout out real quick. And I do think I saw Trent say he's doing Surge. I think he might have bullied him into it, Jovan. So I don't want to take too much time here. We got to get to the Surge here. But Towson and Northeastern. Towson has been on fire. Shout out Goots, Baltimore's finest. The Towson Tigers been on fire of late. He brought it up the other day, like a week or two ago. Said, hey, let's take Towson. I said, nope, not buying in. Well, now I'm bought in. I've seen enough. This team is a fucking wagon. They're playing Northeastern today. They're barely a dog on the roads. I would lean Towson. And this game is on national TV tonight with not the greatest slate in CBB. You get Towson versus Northeastern on CBS Sports Network. Could be a good one to tune into tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Give me the Tigers to continue staying red hot, pulling off the upset on the roads.
Sure. I can get down with that.
All right. Gootsy, you ready for some squad rides? Let's get involved. Let's run that shit. I want to see that train. All right, chat. Squad ride, we got to lock in today. We got to find a fucking winner. We're going to find a couple winners, give you guys some options. Jovan, looking at your plays today, I mean, I think we got to put the Blues in here.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
I don't bet the Blues with confidence too often, but I am doing it today.
We're putting the Blues in there. Looking at my plays, I think I'd rather put Michigan in the most. Am I going to hear any qualms from that?
In for that.
Okay. Definitely like that Corpus Christi play. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I was going to say, we definitely should pick a Southland dog, whether it's Corpus or Houston. Corpus I feel more the Krabs play for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, you put Houston Christian on the Sharp report, so
I did. I'll say there's probably not much a difference in confidence.
Yeah,
like them all pretty much just the same.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm going to stray us to Corpus Christi probably.
Yeah, I'm in for that.
All right, looks like they're getting 8.5.
Yeah,
and I don't want to let that Clippers play get swept either. If chat wants to get involved in the NBA.
Late night
you
clips,
good with that?
Of course.
Okay. Let's run it with those 4 plays. I really do like that under in UCLA, USC, but I want to make sure that Bilodeau is out. So I don't want to put that in the squad ride. And then Arizona, a little sketchy to put in the squad ride, Paul. So they'll probably win by 30. You guys can go ahead and lock that one in on the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
4 plays, 4 winners, chat. Lock in, get involved in the Twitch chat. If you're watching on YouTube, that's fine. That's great. But now you got to make your way over to the Twitch page at Bookit Sports and lock in your vote in the squad ride poll. Okay. It cannot be easier, cannot be freer. It cannot take less time. You still got time. If you're watching on YouTube, you can make your way over to the Twitch page. It's probably the first thing to pop up when you open the app. You click on it, you look at the chat, you see the poll in there, and you click your favorite play you heard us talk about today. All right. The play you heard us talk about where you were thinking to yourself, well, that's probably maybe the nastiest thing I've heard all day today, but it's hitting, right? The play you heard us talk about like that today is the one you should click the right button for. Please get involved in the poll. 4 plays, 4 winners. And yes, Billy the Kid, oi, Krabs, it's okay. We have the Nationals next year. Hey, only a couple weeks, bro. And we did sign our first ever pitcher from Japan. I'm hype. We'll see how it works out. He's either going to be really good or really bad. It's typically how it goes.
Yeah.
Get those votes in chat. 4 plays, 4 winners. We got the Blues ML, Michigan minus 8.5. We've got A&M Corpus Christi plus 8.5. And we've got the Clippers on the ML in the NBA late night.
Corpus Christi
Get involved.
Swept.
Like Big Cheesy's saying in the chat on Twitch, he's saying Twitch is more fun to get involved than YouTube. Yes, the chat's definitely a little bit more active over here on Twitch. We've got Tarma TV coming in, subbing with Prime. Love to see that as well. W's. Hoffy's loving the squad ride options. Looks like Michigan's taking an early lead here. Wow.
Surprise.
Did not expect that, but I got no qualms with it. Probably my favorite play today. Fat number. Danny Wolf and Vlad, you got to take care of business. You got to bounce back after an embarrassing performance in that last game against Purdue. Hit the reset button. I'm all in on Coach May. He's good enough. They could bounce back. Michigan laying a fatty. We'll see if the Blues get any late night or late action here, late steam. I was kind of hoping it'd be the Blues.
I was hoping too, but
Jovan,
Chat
I'll be
wants
tailing that
Michigan.
one.
We go Michigan.
I'll be tailing that one with you anyways, though. Love that play. All right. Squad ride, Michigan -8.5 tonight. W's. W Monday, BTL today. We appreciate all you guys, all the subs, all the chats, all the comments. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great week and a great rest of your Monday. Stick around for the Surge stream. Pitch Trent a winner, please. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time.